My 3 through 5 are Steph Curry, Oscar Robertson, and Jerry West. And those three are in a group right there. And then number 6 is by himself is Chris Paul, my favorite player, who I originally put number 3, but I also said, hey, 3 through 7 could be interchangeable. Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit on that. Did it have a little bit to do with the fact that I thought the Suns would win this year? A little bit, but you can't change the past. Whatever happens this year doesn't change the past. I just think that the amount of the game is the game, and when you can have an argument. Chris Paul has an argument to be number 3. He does. But is it as strong as these other arguments? No, and the ultimate factor is injuries. Bottom line is, yeah, Chris Paul didn't play with the players that Curry, Oscar, and West played with, but he also got injured too many times. He's got amazing longevity, 17 years in the league, but he doesn't have the super high ceiling late in the playoffs like those guys had, like it or not, fair or not. So my 3 through 5, my order as of right now, but try not to, be wishy-washy on this, but it's how do you compare Steph Curry with Jerry West? It's so difficult. I'm going to go with Steph Curry, number 3. And I'm going to go with Jerry West 4 and Oscar 5. And here's why. Steph Curry has, as of current day, made 6 finals, and he has a chance to win his 4th ring. So he's got 3 rings right now, has a chance to win 4. He's an unbelievable shooter. He's the best shooter of all time because he can shoot from all ways. There's 3 ways you can really shoot. You can shoot off the dribble, creating your own shot, even without a screen. Sometimes he uses a screen, but sometimes he doesn't need it. You can just catch and shoot, or you can run as fast as you can, come around a screen, curl, catch, fire, like Reggie Miller. Steph can do all 3 at an elite level. I don't believe there's anyone else in the history of this game who can have a combination at that level. Damian Lillard might actually be second if you look at those 3 realms. But you just think of guys off the top of your head. Reggie Miller wasn't creating it off the dribble. Ray Allen was close, but he was more of the other 2 where he's coming off screens and he catch and shoot, just deadly at both of them, but not as great as Steph just creating the shot. Klay Thompson, same thing. So the versatility of his shooting was unbelievable. He has a certain element of gravity where you have to guard him 25, 30 feet out, and that just opens the floor for everybody else and himself to go in. But really, when you have to account for him, it changes everything. So that's the way I look at Steph. He's a very good passer, excellent scorer. In the playoffs, he averages 26 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game on 61% true shooting. So now his true shooting in the playoffs is better than Magic's and LeBron's. Now, he's got 2 MVPs, 3 top 3 finishes. So now only 3 top 3 finishes compared to the other guys with 9 and 12, and 6 in the top 7. Steph is the one knock I'd have on him is that it took him a while to get going. He's only had about 8 years where he's been a top 10 player, but kind of like the way I talk about Russell Wilson. It's like, hey, listen, hasn't he done it long enough? And it's like whatever reality you want to create, you can create with this. Steph Curry was incredible last season in 2021, but his team was the 8th seed. They lost in the play-in tournament, and they didn't get to play in the playoffs. They should have in the old school rules. Yeah, he finished 8th. But Steph, it's like if you were a Steph denier, you'd say, hey, he didn't make the playoffs. But guess what? Kobe had some issues too. When he had the team with infamously Smush Parker and a couple of these guys, they ended up with like 7-8 seed and got bounced in the first round. It happens to everybody. They didn't have a good team last year. Draymond wasn't around, and Draymond's very important. He's one of the best defenders I've ever seen. So the way I look at Steph is he's just different than other players. I use his size against him. So yes, he's a great scorer. He's a great shooter, obviously. He doesn't instill the same level of physicality and fear that someone like Magic and LeBron can. He just does it in a different way. And, it's funny. He should have been the finals MVP in the first finals run. I think he averaged something about like the 26, 6, and 5 that he averages in his total playoffs as of right now. That's basically what he had in the finals. But because, Matthew Dellavedova was dogging him and LeBron was so dominant, they gave it to Iguodala just because he had some timely shooting, timely passing, and relatively stopped LeBron. It was ridiculous. They should have given it to Steph, or if they're not going to give it to Steph, they should have gave it to LeBron, because LeBron had ridiculous numbers those finals, and he basically personally dragged it without Love and Kyrie there. He dragged it to 6 games. And, the first time they created the NBA MVP for the finals was 1969. They now call it the Bill Russell Award. Ironically, Bill Russell was the player coach who won that finals, but they gave the MVP to Jerry West in a losing effort because he averaged about, 40 a game. He was unbelievable. And the Celtics won by 2 in Game 7 on a shot that like hit the rim, bounced up and went in. So all that being said, Steph he's made 6 finals. He's so easy to build around. He always moves without the ball. I can't stress, even as just an amateur player myself, just locally. I didn't play super competitive basketball, but I understand what it's like to have to guard players who play like that, and consequently how easy it is to play with players that play like that. It just makes things so easier. The defense always has to account for them. They're always seemingly open. And then if you move, it's just perfect harmony. There's a beauty to the way that he plays that's so portable. You could put him on any team and he'll be fine. So I'm going to rank him 3rd.